The diner smelled like bacon and coffee. Red booths lined the walls, sunlight flooding through big glass windows. An ordinary morning. An ordinary crowd. A man at the counter read the paper. A waitress carried plates with a smile that had been trained by years of practice. In the corner booth, an 81-year-old veteran sat quietly, a plate of eggs, toast, and coffee steaming in front of him. He wore a jacket with a faded patch on the sleeve, one that told a story without words. His hands were steady. His eyes calm. He had seen mornings like this before. Quiet. Simple. A place to breathe. The door opened with a slam that broke the rhythm. Boots hit the floor heavy, deliberate. A group of bikers pushed in, leather vests patched with fire, skulls, and names that bragged about violence. They laughed loud. They shoved the air with their voices. And they walked like the diner already belonged to them. People turned, then turned back, pretending not to notice. That's what fear does, it bends necks, lowers eyes. The waitress swallowed, tried to keep her smile. She greeted them anyway. Table for 4? They didn't answer. One of them barked, "Coffee. Keep it coming." They dropped into a booth, legs wide, elbows claiming more space than their bodies needed. They stared at the room like hunters waiting for prey to twitch. Then one of them noticed the old man in the corner. He nudged his friend, smirking. "Look at Grandpa over there." The veteran didn't look up. He cut his toast, buttered it slowly, the way you do when you know time is on your side. But the biker wanted more. He stood, heavy boots on cheap tile, and stalked toward the booth. The room quieted with every step. He stopped at the table, shadow falling over the plate. He grinned, but it wasn't friendly. "What's this? Breakfast for war heroes?" The old man looked up, eyes steady. "Just breakfast." The biker leaned closer, sneering. "You think wearing that patch still means something? You're just an old fool sitting in a booth." The veteran didn't answer. He didn't flinch. He lifted his coffee, took a sip, and set it back down with care. The biker's grin twisted. He wanted noise. He wanted fear. He wanted the room to see him as the storm. And so, he slapped him. The sound cracked across the diner like glass breaking. The old man's head snapped to the side. Coffee rippled in the cup. A waitress gasped. Someone dropped a fork. For a second, no one breathed. The biker laughed. K off, old fools. The old man turned back slowly. His cheek burned red. His eyes, though, didn't. They stayed calm. They stayed steady. And that calm made the biker angrier. "You deaf, old man," the biker spat. "Stand up when I talk to you." The veteran didn't move. He folded his hands on the table, silent. That silence was heavier than any punch. The other bikers at the booth laughed, slapping the table, feeding off the cruelty. The room shrank under it. Some people looked away. Others raised phones but didn't dare press record. But the waitress, she couldn't hide her fear. She whispered under her breath as she passed the old man's booth, "Please, don't react." The biker slammed his palm on the table. Plates rattled. "You think you're tough? You think being a soldier back then makes you a soldier now?" The old man finally spoke. His voice was soft, but every word carried. "I think respect is free. You just can't afford it." The biker's laugh died halfway. He grabbed the old man's jacket, tugged at the faded patch. This is nothing now." The veteran looked him in the eye, and for a moment, something flickered behind the biker's bravado. But pride doesn't retreat. Pride doubles down. The biker shoved him back into the booth. The room gasped again. A child whispered, why are they hurting him, and her mother shushed her quickly. The veteran didn't raise his voice. He didn't fight back. He just said 6 quiet words. You don't know what you've done. The biker sneered. Oh, I know exactly. But before he could finish, the door opened again. The bell above the diner door rang again. A tall figure stepped in, boots clicking once against the tile. His uniform wasn't loud, no medals, no shine, just clean lines and quiet authority. His eyes scanned the room once and locked on the corner booth. Dad, he said softly. The old man didn't rise. He didn't need to. I'm fine, he answered, though the red mark on his cheek said otherwise. The biker grinned, leaning back with false victory. Look at this. Daddy's boy came to save him. The son didn't even look at him. Did he hit you? The veteran nodded once. He did. That was enough. The son turned, his gaze like a weight. Step away from my father. The biker barked a laugh, stepping closer instead. Or what? You'll write me a ticket? You're outnumbered, soldier. But before the biker could lean in further, the diner door swung open again. 2 soldiers entered, their presence quiet but undeniable. Outside, a county cruiser rolled up, then another, engines purring low, no sirens, real authority never needs noise. The biker's smirk faltered. His friends shifted in their booth, unsure whether to laugh or stay very still. You think you scare me? The biker snapped, jabbing a finger at the old man's jacket patch. He's a relic. This whole act is a joke. The veteran finally looked up, his voice calm and cutting. Respect costs nothing. You still can't afford it. The biker shoved the table, silverware rattling, coffee spilling. The waitress flinched, then found her courage. He hit him, she said aloud, voice trembling but clear. I saw it. We all did. The room shifted. A man at the counter stood taller. A mother wrapped her arm around her child, nodding. The silence of witnesses became truth. The deputy stepped in, tone steady. Sir, hands behind your back. The biker puffed his chest, desperate for a scene. He mouthed off first. That's self-defense. The deputy's eyes flicked to the veteran's cheek, then to the security camera glowing red above the pies. The video disagrees. The biker tried one last bluff, glancing at his friends. But they stayed seated, eyes down, loyalty evaporating like steam. Pride gave him one option, survival gave him another. He chose survival. The cuffs clicked. Real metal. Real authority. The biker cursed, spitting words that hit the floor and died there. Nobody listened. The deputy read the charges calmly: assault on an elderly person. Disorderly conduct. More would come later, but those words were enough. The biker was led out, still shouting, still trying to own a stage that no longer existed. The door closed behind him, and the diner exhaled. The waitress approached the booth, voice shaking. Sir. I'm so sorry. The veteran wiped the corner of his lip, checked the sting, and gave a faint smile. Don't be. You spoke when it mattered. The son stood close, steady as a wall. Thank you for staying calm, he said to her. She nodded quickly, eyes wet. I was scared, but I couldn't just let it happen. That's bravery, the son said. Fear is real. Bravery is doing it anyway. The manager shuffled forward, hands trembling, holding a wrapped plate. On the house. Please. The old man shook his head. He pulled out his wallet, placed bills on the counter, and tipped extra. Respect isn't charity, he said. It's choice. The deputy returned, holding out a small card. Call this number if you need anything else. The report will be ready tomorrow. The old man nodded, pocketing the card. What I need, he said, is to finish breakfast hot for once. The room laughed quietly, tension breaking at last. The son helped his father to his feet. The diner, moments ago a stage for cruelty, now felt like a room again, safe, ordinary. People sat taller, breaths came easier, even the coffee tasted stronger. Outside, the air was clean, sunlight washing over the street. The son glanced at his watch. 22 minutes, he said. Felt longer, the old man replied, half smiling. At home, they ate the rest of the meal together, the kitchen warm and quiet. Later, the son recorded a message, the veteran listening nearby. His voice was low, but it carried weight. Bullies write scripts. They need you to explode. They need you to give them the scene they planned. Don't. Stay calm. Let silence work. Let truth do the talking. He leaned closer to the camera. And if you believe in calm over chaos, in dignity over noise, subscribe. Around here, patience is armor. And justice always walks in. He switched the camera off. The old man washed his plate. The house breathed like it always had. And outside, the street was quiet again. And the quiet, this time, meant safety.